Hi, this is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. Welcome to my Star OS Week in Review podcast. This is podcast number 176. Any articles or videos mentioned can be found on my website at intergalacticherald.com. Just look for weekly recap newsletter 224. So just a quick summary of things that happened this past week in Star OS. There was the Community Atlas Brew. There was also a quarterly econ report released, and then one of the community members, I think a Dialcaster, did a explainer video of getting ready for C4. But before I get to those items, I just want to mention again things I'm working on within Star OS. Of course, check out my website, intergalacticherald.com. Great Star OS resource website with guides, directories, recaps, and a Star Atlas Discord newsfeed. You can also check out my Star OS merch store at intergalacticgear.com. And definitely want to start a new community, kind of a non-guild for Star OS players who aren't joining guilds, but nevertheless want to hang out. So you can check that out at intergalacticcoalition.com. So big one that came out this past week, as is typical, is the Star Atlas Brew. Many topics went over, and so I'll kind of go over some of those. One of the first things that was mentioned was the Star Atlas PIP for the reimbursement money to the Star Atlas team. They did note there's a very large abstain vote, and that is actually the Star Atlas team's wallet, so they wanted to be very clear that due to conflict of interest, they're not going to be voting on the PIP, so makes a lot of sense. So appreciate the transparency there. They did mention the Econ quarterly report and did just a real quick summary of that, mentioning that they unfortunately had to turn off some of the data pipelines for reporting, so they're kind of rebuilding those. Oh, and if I haven't mentioned, you can get the entire recording at, what used to be Star OS TV. Apparently, this is the last recording they're going to do, but the Dialcasters apparently are going to pick up and continue that. So I do want to really thank Star OS TV's YouTube channel for many years of recording these. As I've mentioned, anyone who listened to my podcast for a while, I can't watch it live, and I don't have time during the week too, so that's the only way I've been able to keep up with Star Atlas over the years. So I don't know the background of that, but appreciate all the work that has been done on that channel. So anyways, moving on, they, in the Atlas Brew, then talked about the C4, how the test is going. One new information they did provide was they're going to actually build a single-player campaign as a tutorial. So this will be something that's not on-chain, and you can just get into it. One side issue, as they're going with it, they're actually thinking of maybe getting rid of HoloSim, which, as was mentioned, had been a very great product, intro point. But they did mention some reasons why this makes a lot of sense going forward. A single-player campaign, obviously, with not being on-chain, don't really need HoloSim. The other reason they mentioned is the UI is different between the two products, so it kind of just wouldn't make sense to keep going. So, again, we'll see how this all kind of comes out. But, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense to put something in there. Next, they talked about the, phase 2 of the PTR for C4. And again, the idea is to have combat in it, the NPCs, cultivation claims. They did also want to get, going forward, more, if you're testing in the PTR, you'll actually earn the Zinc experience points. And they're also mentioning for this phase 2, they're going to get rid of the God mode where everything's kind of available, partly just to test the council rank feature. And definitely this will be a wipe of everything. So that was a great update of things that were going on. And then they spent the kind of remaining parts talking about the phase 3, which is where they said the single player campaign might show up. And again, major part of this phase 3 would be the crew mechanism. But again, I'm not sure if they changed. According to I thought the last one, this would be after the release. But again, we'll see where this all goes. But information or things they're trying to work on for the crew mechanism, that everything will be impacted by the crew. All of the crew members will have attributes. But they also mentioned that there will be encounters for the crew, which are random things that will happen. That will be the mission system. So it seems like, again, a fully fleshed out kind of crew module in C4. So that's really great. They did mention also, because crew are objects or NFTs, they will have some Zinc rent, but again, the hope is that Zinc will be cheaper, so it'll all kind of work out. So, and then they mentioned a few quick things near the end. One, they are starting to work on the economy of C4 with Chris, the team economist. So those elements are starting to come on. And then briefly, they mentioned that they are soliciting Zinc validators, and apparently will even be selling licenses starting at $100,000. So that would be great, I'm sure, for the team's revenue. And then quickly, they ended with an update on UE5. They are working on trying to get some of the bugs fixed so they can patch that, because it's, again, I guess, causing lots of problems in there. So anyway, so yeah, that was pretty much the Atlas Brew. So I think that was a great thing. Again, I've already mentioned the economy report that's available. And again, there'll be a link in the newsletter. If you go to my website, intergalacticherald.com, and check out that newsletter, I think, again, that'll be 224. There may probably be, I think there's an announcement in the Star Atlas Discord and perhaps on their Twitter profile or Twitter account. I can't remember. And then last, I did see a community video that was created by Winston, who I believe is one of the Dowcasters. So that was really cool. 8-minute video, and it was a great explainer video on getting ready for C4. And yeah, it was actually very helpful. So do check that out. Again, I have a link to that in my newsletter if you want to check that out. So anyway, so yeah, that was pretty much the what happened this past week in Star Atlas. So kind of just talk briefly about kind of my thoughts on the state of Star Atlas. Yeah, I think there was a great update on the PTR. Definitely feel like, they're moving in the direction, getting these different features and things like that. They did mention that they probably won't do much internal testing because the whole point of the PTR is that. So I know I've been a little critical on the last one. It's like, hey, you got all these systems built. But yeah, I mean, these are all feeling like not maybe necessary, but definitely, yeah, this would be great to play a game and how everything works with the other parts of the C4 they had talked about. So call these additions or extra things. So definitely the single player campaign, I think, will be a wonderful addition. I mean, it just makes sense. Again, HoloSim served its purpose, like was mentioned. They learned some AI programming on that. And, going forward, why not be in this exact same interface without having the blockchain thing? So crew definitely starting to sound like really going to be a key component going forward, but even some of these kind of missions and what do they call them? Encounters? Goes it encounters? Can't remember. Trying to find it. Yeah, encounters. I mentioned some of these could be, you just sort of started and there's a time, so you can basically start before you go to sleep and things like that. It won't take more of a passive gameplay, and then you get a random thing based on your crew, things like that. So yeah, I mean, that definitely sounds interesting. And overall, yeah, I think this is really sounding like the fully integrated game play that we'd been always imagining. Sure, it's not in the UE5, it's not full AAA, but it's blockchain, it's a game, it's got things, combat. I mean, yeah, sounds like a game. And again, we'll see you can see the interface right now if you just go to the test. So I haven't started in a while, so yeah, that's my thoughts on kind of the state of Star Atlas. Real quick to end, again, my journey playing. I'm still just in the Sage browser game now, just doing my mining loop. Started transporting that back, and of course doing those actions, eating up some soul, but am earning the Zinc experience points. So yeah, it's my trade-off in what I'm doing now. So yeah, and so again, thanks for listening. Again, totally open if anybody wants to be a guest on the podcast. Otherwise, check out my website, intergalacticherald.com, for Star Atlas resources and things like that. Intergalacticgear.com is my merch store, and intergalacticcoalition.com is my hopeful someday community. So, yeah, that's this past week in Star Atlas. I'm Matt with Intergalactic Herald. Have a great week ahead.